Today we are going to be making Hokkien Mee Paella.
Huh?
So you might be wondering, am I making Hokkien Mee or Paella? Actually, it is a Hokkien Mee Paella. Means it's a paella that has the flavors of Hokkien Mee.
Oh.
So you're going to have a classic Spanish paella. Okay, maybe not so classic, but you're going to have a Spanish style paella with a nice socarrat underneath and the flavors of Hokkien Mee infused into the rice, which I'm sure you're going to enjoy. Traditionally, for a Spanish paella, you use something called Bomba rice, but you're not going to go out there and buy a packet of Bomba rice just to make this paella, right? Fortunately, we can also make it with USA Calrose rice. We've used this rice for many dishes, from risotto to clay pot rice, from onigiri to chicken rice balls, many recipes, because this rice is actually quite versatile and it's a good rice for you to keep in your pantry. So for today's paella, we're going to be using PaddyKing USA Calrose. There's one rice cup, which is 180 ml of rice. Now this Calrose rice is a medium grain rice, which means that it can be a little bit sticky. So we got to do something to it to make it so that it's got a character of Bomba. To the 1 cup of rice, we're going to add some hot water. We'll give it a stir, and we're going to set our timer for 5 minutes. So by soaking the rice with hot water, we're going to remove some of the excess starch on the outside of the rice. So after 5 minutes, we want to drain the rice and throw away all that starchy water. Okay, we rinse out all the excess starch and then we leave it to drain for a while. Let's get our seafood ready. I managed to find these baby octopus, and we got some really nice prawns which I picked up from the market today. First of all, we're going to remove the heads. Now, this is where all the good stuff is. This is the tasty bit. We're going to use this to make the stock later. You cut the back of the prawn from here. Okay, so this is not really a vein, right? This is actually the alimentary canal. We're going to cut a few slits at the bottom of the prawn so that it doesn't curl up too much. So it's easier to handle when you're laying it on the paella. A bit of salt, then a dash of pepper. Okay, so since this is the East and West recipe, I'm going to use a Chinese method of velveting the seafood so that when you cook it later, it will be nice and plump and shiny. So what we need is some egg white. Let's put a bit of egg white on each. Some corn flour. Okay, so what the egg white and corn flour does is it will protect the seafood from overcooking. The worst thing you want to do is to overcook the seafood and it becomes tough and rubbery. So you'll form a nice shell to prevent all the nice beautiful liquid from coming out of the prawns too quickly. So now I'll show you how to make the prawn stock. This is a classic prawn stock that I make for my Hokkien Mee recipe. What you need is garlic. You don't really need to peel your garlic. You can use it whole with the skin on. But I'm going to chop it into a smaller piece. Okay, I learned this trick from a hawker. The secret to the garlic is actually not to peel the skin, because there's a lot of flavor in the skin. So now I'm going to show you what to do with the prawn heads. Now, all that flavor is in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to rough cut it. We're going to extract all that flavor. So now we're just going to add some oil to the prawn head. It's quite a lot of oil. I'm using about 1/3 of a cup. So we've got the prawn heads and the oil. We're going to turn the fire on. The flavor of the prawn head and the shell is actually fat soluble, not water soluble. So you really do need the oil to absorb the flavor. Just gentle heat. You can see how the oil is now turning a beautiful red. We're going to add in our garlic. Once the garlic goes in, it's going to start smelling a lot like Hokkien Mee. You know it's ready when you can smell that toasty, garlicky aroma. A tasty stock like this, as they say, win already lor. Starting to foam up and bubble, right? 600 ml of water. The other secret ingredient, dashi stock powder. It's a seafood stock powder, so it fits this dish really well. If you don't have any stock powder, a little bit of fish sauce will do too. Oh, okay, it's very good. So this bit you want to have a rolling boil in order for the oil and the water to mix nicely to become an emulsion, right? Do this for about 2 or 3 minutes and then it's ready. So now we're going to strain it. Okay, while the broth is still warm, we're going to put in our seafood. First of all, I'm going to just cook the prawns quickly. It's about 1 minute and the prawns are ready. Octopus, 1 minute, very fast. So if you overcook it, it's going to get very chewy. I've got a specialized paella pan here, but not everybody has a paella pan at home, but I'm sure you got one of these, right? So this is a 26 centimeter pan, and this is just nice for paella for 1 or 2 packs lah. We're just going to add some oil to the rice, coat the rice with the oil. And next, we're gonna heat up the pan. It's not non-stick. Heat up the pan and then spray some oil onto the pan. And then it becomes non-stick. So don't start with a cold pan. Okay, first step is to just lightly toast the rice. Just want to cook the outside of the rice briefly so that it will stay nice, and we all Teochew like to say ziliap, you know. That means all the rice grains are distinct. So this technique is also borrowed from the way we cook Hainanese chicken rice, right? You're supposed to fry the rice with a bit of oil and all the aromatics. Stock. Leave some stock behind because we're going to add a little bit later. And now you make sure your rice is in one even layer. Now we set our timer for 20 minutes. So you want to lower the heat to a nice gentle simmer. USA Calrose is a medium grain rice, so it's actually a little bit more versatile. Cooks up to be nice and chewy and a little bit sticky. Perfect for making onigiri, making sushi, things like paella. You can just do a quick hack to it and then turn it into something that resembles bomba. And if you're concerned about sustainability, you will be glad to know that the US farmers actually use technology to reduce the use of water. The traditional paella, they have a nice big fire, but my fire is only one small little bit. So I'm going to move the pan a little bit around so that we can get a lot of nice crispy rice bits at the bottom. That's called the socarrat. This is where we put the prawns. My little octopus goes on. We put the cover on in order to warm up the seafood. Okay, now at the end, I'm going to turn up the heat. Smell the smoky charred aroma coming up. Of course, if you like more socarrat, then just keep going, you know. You can make as much as you want. So 20 minutes and your Hokkien Mee Paella is done. Chinese chive is very traditional, you know, for Hokkien Mee. But unfortunately, you seldom see it used nowadays. But the Chinese chives goes really well with Hokkien Mee. Yeah, I'm gonna turn it around for you. Smells like Hokkien Mee. Once the lime goes on, 就是这个味道。Crunchy, yummy, tasty Hokkien Mee Paella. I hope you give it a try at home. And don't forget to pick up a pack of USA Calrose rice when you're planning to make the dish. Until next time, happy cooking and bye for now.